Well, good morning everybody. How y'all doing? Pretty good here, and welcome to the channel. Wanted to talk about something today, something to deal with mods on the Tacoma, the dark side. First, let's take a little bit of a walk around. I'll just give you a brief overview of what I've done to my truck. It's parked out here and I think it looks awesome. We've got the wheels, we've got the tires, obviously we've got the lift, the side steps, they actually came with it. Changed out the front grille, put in some Raptor style lights, just awesome. Front facing camera up here. I did remove the badges and stuff, most of them. I did leave the Tacoma on there only because they're blacked out. Tinted the windows. Let's take a look inside. Did a custom console cover. It's just awesome. Did some overlays in here around the trim pieces, I guess. They look just awesome. Even over there on the glove box, you can see the red Tacoma lettering. All-weather floor mats. Even did my own little garage door opener knob here. Let's take a round to the back. On the inside, just a little bit in here. Painted the hook up there on the front. Painted the bolts here in the bed, you guys can see. I'm not sure where I'm pointing, right there. Did a little bit of that. Took the badges off the back. The Tacoma did come in the truck, the lettering that you see there, so I didn't do that. Changed the tail lights, added an MBRP exhaust, even put some RobMotive channel stickers on the back there. So those are just a few things that I've done. Under the hood, a little bit more in there, some lettering, TRD cold air intake, lots of stuff. So what's the dark side? Well, there's a couple of dark sides. First of all, it costs money. You know, nobody is going to give you parts for free. You might get some discounting, and I'll take that back. You might get some parts. Depends on what you do. In my case, I'm a YouTuber, so I do get some discounting and even some free bits and pieces here from vendors in exchange for advertising on the channel. Now, I will say, for me, as a little caveat, I never put anything on that I don't have faith in or I don't like, at least initially, and we'll get to that. So they do cost money, unless you're in a situation like me and maybe you get some discounts or even free stuff because of what you do for a living. The other thing, and people love to talk about this, warranty. Is it going to void your warranty? You know, if you put tires on your truck, different tires, aftermarket tires, bigger tires, is it going to void your warranty? You know, if your motor blows up, are they not going to cover it now because you put bigger tires on? Well, you know, it kind of depends on what you do. I mean, if I supercharge the motor, let's say, and the motor blows up, yeah, they're not going to cover that. Why? Because I directly impacted the motor. I think a good rule of thumb for mods with any vehicle, particularly on my Tacoma back here, is what did it affect? If you do something that affects a part that fails because of what you did, it's your fault, they're not going to cover that. Now, everybody always says, well, yeah, they got to prove it. They got to make sure that what you did caused the problem. Well, that's true. They would have to prove it, but it's going to come down to a situation sometimes where they're still going to say, nope, they didn't cover it, and now you have a choice. And this gets back to money. You can file a lawsuit. You can take them to small claims court and try to get them, force them to cover the warranty. But there's a cost in doing that. You're going to pay for a lawyer potentially. You're going to have a time cost, believe me. Anytime you do anything in the courts, you're going to have to go back and forth and spend a lot of time screwing with it, and you still may not win. So yeah, you can go that route if you want, but I think the general rule of thumb is, as long as whatever you've done does not directly impact something that fails on the truck, they're going to cover it. So I'm not real concerned about that as far as I go. A good example right now is the PCS system recall. You know, Toyota just put out a notice that basically says if you've changed the grille, this little part of it, they won't do the warranty work. They won't cover it. Now, there's good reason for that, simply because you've changed the angle of where that sensor sits. I understand that. But they also have given you a little caveat with lifts and things like that, that as long as you say, hey, I did it, I know I did it, and this warranty coverage may not work or whatever, You sign that, they'll go ahead and do the work. So that's cool. Kudos to them for doing that. I appreciate that. Another thing to consider is the time or the effort that it takes to do it. You know, mods don't put themselves on. You have to have the time to do them, and you have to have at least a minimal amount of skill in doing it. You know, you have to know what a screwdriver is. You got to know what a wrench is. You got to know what socket to use. And along with that, you have to have the tools. So if you're going to get into modding and you're going to be doing stuff with your truck over here, you got to have the tools to do it. So there's another cost. I wouldn't call it a hidden cost, but maybe a cost that a lot of people don't take into mind. You got to have the tools, and especially the right tools. I mean, ultimately, when we mod a vehicle, we want it to come out right, don't we? We want it to work properly, we want it to do what we want it to do, and we don't want to have to screw with redoing it or anything like that. So you got to have the right tools. The right tools really do make a big difference. For instance, trim tools. You know, if you're inside and you're trying to take plastic bits and pieces off and you don't have a plastic trim tool of some sort, you're going to scratch the hell out of everything. And who wants to do that? I mean, I don't want to put my nice new shiny radio in, for example, or in my case, front-facing camera, where I had to remove a lot of the trim work, and scratch up my trim in doing it. So you got to have the right tools. There is more cost than just going out and buying that front-facing camera. You got to consider that when you're doing these types of mods. As I mentioned, know-how. It's good to have some kind of direction or some kind of idea of what you're doing. I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, chances are it's not going to turn out properly, and you may cause yourself other problems. The next part of the dark side of this, right? I mean, let's say, for example, and I experienced this, that you want to do a lift, right? You go ahead and you put new wheels and tires and stuff on, and then you have a problem. In my case, it was the UCA right here. The tires, when I turned or hit severe bumps or whatever, would rub the UCAs. Now, I suppose you can just live with it, but eventually you're going to have troubles. I mean, the truck is not designed to rub the UCAs every time you hit a bump or you move. It's going to cause trouble. So now, in doing that mod, you have a choice. You can change it. Well, now you've used the parts, so you've just lost money, right? I mean, nobody's going to give you the full price of what you paid for those nice, shiny new tires and wheels if they don't work on your truck. You got to sell them as used. So you just lost a bunch of money. Or you can live with it, like I said, and just have that annoying rubbing and everything else that you have that goes along with it. So make sure, I guess, that when you do something, and this is advice to myself, that you know that what you're doing is indeed going to work. Get on the web, do your research, and even better, find somebody you trust that has that same mod, that same size tires and lift or whatever, that will tell you their experience. Because there's one thing that I've noticed as I've been doing these mods and watching videos and things, people don't like to admit defeat, right? I mean, when they put a mod on the truck, it is the best damn thing that they ever did. They don't ever want to admit that it doesn't work right. So they will go overboard the other way. They will sell that mod. Now, I don't do this myself. I try to be honest as possible as I can on the channel, like with the wheel tire combo that I just mentioned. If something doesn't work, I'll tell you it doesn't work, or at least what the problem is. So find somebody that'll do that. You know, again, beware of the people that post up videos and things on the internet. They give you false information because they just don't want to admit that maybe what they did didn't work out well and it wasn't right. Another dark side of doing mods. The last one that I'll mention, and this one is kind of funny to me because I hear it all the time. People do mods on their trucks. They do things that they like that they believe increases the value of their truck, right? Well, I got news for you. Oh, and then they'll go in to trade it off later on, right, to the dealership. And they honestly expect to get a higher price because of what they've done to the truck. What they don't realize is that what you've done to the truck, you did for you. The dealer's not in the market to resell the truck to you. They've got to sell it to somebody else, Joe Average. And Joe Average might not care for a 10-inch lift on the truck with giant wheels that rub. So they have to be wary of that, and you're never going to get anywhere near, if anything, out of the mods that you put on the truck, at least trading it in through a dealership. I suppose you might find the right person on the street who's willing to pay a little bit more because the truck's got the lift on it, for example. But the dealer's not going to do that. They don't care. A lot of the time, they'll even remove things that you did. You know those shiny stickers that you put on the back that you really love, that you paid 50 bucks for or whatever? They don't want those on there because Joe Average that's coming in might not be a fan. Not necessarily of this channel, but maybe one of those other ones that you put their sticker on. So, just a few things to be wary of, or be aware of, I guess, when it comes to modding your Tacoma. There is a dark side to everything, of course. Although, making it your own far outweighs that, in my opinion. Obviously, I've done it. I love the looks of the truck, and I wouldn't stop. And I'm not gonna stop. Anyway, appreciate you guys watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let me know if you agree with me. Am I nuts? Maybe. We'll see you next time on the web. Have a great day. Bye.